Voices.
Hey everyone, how you doing? Episode 40, we're here. Welcome to Mid-Geek Crisis. My name is Joe, partner in crime.
Yeah, Pedro, Cautious Online.
All right. 40 episodes in, and we have probably talked about absolutely nothing. Have we changed the world in 40 episodes in any way? Have we contributed anything? Will some anthropologist or archaeologist of some sort
Discover the Mid-Geek Crisis sacred text and be like, what? Who are these two a-holes?
Goddamn time. God.
Why were so many of their episodes dedicated to Sonic in December?
This is true. You know, when you talk about that, it got pushed back again.
It's a train wreck, dude. You know why I got pushed back? Because you can't satisfy the fans. You can't do it. They folded, and now they're going to have to fold again. And once you fold 6 times, you can't fold anymore, right? That's it.
6 or 9? How many? What was that?
I don't know. Whatever.
It's a certain amount of times.
It's a certain amount of times. The metaphor still stands.
I think after a certain fold, it opens up a puzzle box, and then like Pinhead shows up, or a real life person, like a real Sonic shows up in your house.
Oh my god. But like, is it like first edition Sonic?
Oh yeah. The very first version of it. The creepy.
Maybe it's like a Sonic wearing that hideous Halloween Sonic.
The Halloween mask, yeah. I'm wondering if you could still order that. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to these Sonic Fortnite skins. That's what I'm looking forward to. I think there should be a crossover.
Oh my god, that'd be a great crossover, actually.
That'd be a great crossover.
I'd buy that. I mean, I logged back in to buy the Stranger Things one, and I haven't played since.
You played like never. What?
I know, I'm such an asshole.
I uninstalled it just 2 days ago.
No, yep. Really?
I haven't played it. Huh?
What if I said, hey, let's hop on and play a game?
Well, you better tell me the day before so I can install it. I'm sorry.
No, that's true. That's true. Are you making sweet room for?
I condo I'm like, I don't play that anymore. I want it out of my. Yeah, it brings me no joy to even see it on the list of things to play. Be gone. So I condoed it. Yep.
So there will be silence occasionally because I will want to cough, and so I'm gonna just go mute. Like,
oh, you're gonna quickly mute it. There you go. You know what you should do? You should give me control of the mute button over here. Wouldn't that be great?
Oh no, that would be terrible. That's too much power.
What about our fans? The fans that want to hear Joe, right?
Yeah. What about the fan? So what do we got to talk about today? There was a lot of news. I felt like there was a lot happening this week. Gamescom happened in Germany.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only news that I heard from that was Wingspan won the Kinder Der Spiel, the best game award for 2019, which I think surprises no one in the board game community. That game is immediately beloved. I think I have a friend up here who has a copy, and I want to play it because I haven't even gotten a chance. So Wingspan, you get to you raise a flock of birds, and you have to keep them alive, sort of in the bird community, and you evolve them. I don't know. It's one of those I think it's one of those analysis paralysis type European games that everyone loves to play once, and then they can't get it on the table because it takes an hour and a half to explain.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, I put those on the table for you, and you're like, "What are you doing, Pedro? Why are you doing this to me?"
It's a afternoon type game. You pop
on. Oh, I mean, I think it's one of those games that rewards already knowing how to play and playing it over and over again. So if you've got a good, strong group of board gamers that want to play the same game until they mastered it, it's one of those games. But like if you've got a kind of casual board gaming community like what I have up here, I don't think it's a good one to put on the table because no one will ever get deeper. They'll never get past like surface mode. They'll never get to the deeper engine mechanics and things like that. Or not. I don't know. I haven't played it. I'll figure it out. What else? We had, should we even dance around it? Should we just dive right into the news that dropped today or yesterday? Or look at that. Joe's on mute.
Yes, we should. The big big elephant in the room, and I think I don't want to take up most of the show, but it probably will. There'll be little.
We're not going to be most of the show.
It's maybe by us channeling this much energy, by tomorrow there'll be new news about it. That's what seems to happen, right? We talk about something, and then like the next day after I release an episode, they change it or they release.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about here?
So the news. What happened yesterday? The big announcement that happened late in the afternoon. I mean, my wife sent me a text message, from work. She's like, "What's gonna happen?" And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like, she beat me to the punch. And
she beat you to the news.
Yeah, she did. Then all of a sudden, sure enough, there were like 5 notifications from all sorts of different apps and stuff that I've got on my phone, and started saying, "Breaking news: Spider-Man is out of the MCU." And
right.
yeah, it was. It didn't surprise me that much. I'm not saying
really.
Yeah. So this is what's going on. I mean, if you're not much into the minutia of this, of the the complexities of like these licenses and like the Fox thing and the Disney thing and the Sony thing and who owns what on the Marvel side and whatever. That's always been something I've followed for years, even before the MCU existence. Who had the rights to make certain movies? For example, the Fantastic Four ones, we knew they were Fox, but they were owned by someone else. You had the old Corman films that were made, back
Sure.
Just all that stuff. There's been a lot of minutia of the film industry and who owns the rights. Well, Disney owns about 90% of them now, 99% of them now. The one that they just can't seem to own outright has been Spider-Man, and that's because the original agreement was that if Spider-Man sits dormant, I think it's like a 5-year window of like no film release, the rights automatically transfer over.
5 years, really?
It's like a 5-year window, so there has to be like a 5-year window after a certain amount. Like there has to, like it's some weird. I have to find the exact number to it, but there is a time window that has to happen for Sony to release a Spider-Man film. If they don't, then Marvel has the rights to reverse those.
Sure. The right to revert back to
the original owner. The original owner is Marvel. Marvel does own Spider-Man in all its likenesses, except in film. When it comes to film, it's all Sony. Everything else, though.
Video games, Marvel owns as well.
Yes. So they own it as well. So that was interesting. So the day before this announcement happened, another big announcement happened, which is related in our own spectrum, in our own little bubble of geek news, was that Insomniac was purchased by Sony. So PlayStation, the division of Sony Entertainment, now owns Insomniac, which they've made Ratchet and Clank. They've made a bunch of other games. So they've been mostly Sony exclusive for a while, but they haven't been exclusive in the sense that they can't make a game. They've made games for other consoles before. And sure enough, they made Sunset Overdrive for Xbox One, which is one of our early launch titles. Not launch, but within the early window of
I feel like it might have been an Xbox Gold launch title.
Yeah. So it was a big game. It was fun. It had that Insomniac style. If you're familiar with the Insomniac style games, it's just that third person platforming in a very
frenetic,
just
ridiculous,
very, very smooth controls. That's Insomniac. That's always been Insomniac. So Sony has been contracting them to make games for them for years. They made the Ratchet and Clank series, which is exclusive to Sony, and they made Spider-Man, the newest Spider-Man game, and I guess it made them enough money that they were just like, that's it, we're just buying you. And they did. They bought Insomniac outright. So they now go into the fold and become part of Sony Entertainment.
So you don't think they bought Insomniac to protect their Spider-Man their Spider-Man exclusivity?
Two separate. I mean, it's definitely there. I'm not sure. I don't have a copy of the contracts on what means what. What, like a game. Does a game cause any type of like connection with whatever? All I know is that the gaming, that form of media is very different from movies.
Sure.
So the movie aspect, Sony has made movies, right? So they just last December they released, or October they released a Venom, which is a Spider-Man villain, which then became anti-hero, and then they released Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse in December, and that, I mean, it won the Oscar for Best Animated Movie. So it's not that Sony can't make good Spider-Man movies, but that wasn't Sony. It was a division that their animated studio is very different from Sony. Sony just funded it and threw their name on it and was like, here you go. The big kerfuffle was this, that after all of those other Spider-Man movies, so we had the first original 3, then the 2 with Andrew Garfield, the big email scandal happened. I don't know if you remember that. There was a big email breach at Sony Studios, and a bunch of emails that went back and forth, and some terrible things were said of certain characters, of certain licenses, of certain actors, etc., which caused studios to not want to work with Sony at all, which made Sony kind of lose faith and fire a bunch of people and not produce any Spider-Man stuff. So I think that was one of the biggest scenarios where they needed to make money quick, and so they finally gave in. And Disney came to the table and went, hey, we want Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe. What do we need to do? And so they came to the table and offered them a deal and said, we will take a certain percentage. I think it's like a 5%. 5%
of the profit.
5%.
The first dollar profit.
First dollar profit of every box office, of the box office in general. So it's not a lot of money. So Spider-Man was produced by Sony. I mean, it is. I mean, no. It's not a lot of money overall, the amount of money that is made by the character that is Spider-Man. But here's where things kind of get like silly, right? So we've got Spider-Man. We've had 3 Spider-Man movies. One was the first Tobey Maguire one was like the second one everyone loved in some way. The third one killed the franchise. Then they started over again. And everyone, we don't need any more Spider-Man. We don't need any more Spider-Man. I don't know how many times we're going to see Uncle Ben get killed, blah, 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 blah. So they made the first one. They had some weird changes to the suit. And then the second one came out, and they gave him the perfect suit, I think. And the character, Andrew Garfield in general, I think played a great Peter Parker, but it just didn't. By the time that one came out, the Marvel Universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe was in full effect.
Yeah.
It was already out there. And so at this point, people that don't follow it were like, so Spider-Man in the cartoons is running around with the Avengers, but he's not in my Avengers movie. Why? And then, they have to be like, oh, well, it's different. He's not part of this universe. Or like, I don't care. So the normie started realizing that these Spider-Man films that they were releasing are not connected in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, neither were the X-Men, though. I mean, the normies, I don't know.
But again, we're talking about
the normies that are ripping their hair out and ripping their shirts out.
It's not. But what I'm saying is the amount of money that was made once Spider-Man was allowed to play with the other kids in the Marvel Cinematic Universe was so astronomical that Sony was like, oh my God, like they made, 5 times more money than any other Spider-Man movies made.
Sure.
So here we've got Disney going after 2 films going, okay, now we got to renegotiate the contract here. We have allowed you to make these movies. We've allowed you to play with the characters that belong to us. We put him in Infinity War, Endgame, and Civil War, 3 movies outside of the 2 movies that you guys have made. And because of those 3 movies, he's connected.
It wasn't Tony Stark in the Spider-Man films?
Right, and Tony Stark was, Robert Downey Jr. was in Homecoming, and Nick Fury is in Far From Home, and so is Jon Favreau's character, Hogan.
Right.
He's in it. So you've got all these characters now that exist. So if you rip Spider-Man out of that universe now, first off, he's already been set. I mean, you finally watched Endgame. You finally watched Endgame. Yes.
Okay, wait. Before you say anything, I watched Endgame all the way up to the tediously long pan through all the characters in the funeral scene. Spoilers. And then I stopped watching it there because I had reached my endurance level. So I don't know anything Huh? No, really. I stopped. I could not. There was a point in that film where I literally yelled at the screen, when is this movie going to end? Because I just could not. I could not. 3 hours is way too long. That movie needed to be cut down. It was too long. Too long. It was 4 movies. It had 3 endings. Maybe 4 endings, because I never got to the real one.
Sorry.
That's my review. That's my review 1 year later. Too many endings in Endgame. Oh, there it goes. Avengers. Too many end games.
Too many games. No. Overall, minus endings, did you like the movie?
Yeah, there were a lot of scenes I appreciated. I enjoyed a lot of stuff. I like the idea of the time heist, but I didn't think they pulled it off well. It didn't work cohesively. I didn't like the Black Widow Hawkeye thing. I didn't really get it. I wasn't as attached to the characters as I should have been.
You've skipped a lot of movies, though.
No, I watched them all except the Spider-Man ones. I've seen all of the movies except the Spider-Man ones. But I've only seen them each once, except for Thor Ragnarok, which I've seen maybe 4 times. What else? Mainly, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of like connections to the characters I didn't like. There was a few scenes that I was like, why are we spending so much time with this person? Are they going to be important later? And then they turn out not to be important later. There was just a lot of weird decisions, but it was good. It was good. I liked the final fight with Thanos. That was great. Good times. I mean, that fight there, I didn't really like the whole, like, everyone showing up to brawl on the planet on that one little place. And I was like, what is this? Why is this happening again? Didn't I watch this in the last film? I was really satisfied with the Thanos fight until he called in his forces and then all the other guys showed up. Because I thought really there was going to be like another ending, right? I was waiting for it to be end.
Wait, so you weren't happy when everyone showed up?
So
because that's like the part of the movie. I mean, like, I've gone back and watched the movie like twice already, and I constantly go back and start the movie there just because I love that scene.
You start the movie when all the portals open?
Yeah.
And so
it's such a it's like the geek moment, the culmination of these 22 movies. Like the first time all of these characters, all of them.
Not that important to me. But so, like, I mean, they were all there in the fucking one before that. I don't know what you're talking about. They were all fighting on. They were all fighting across like 70 different. Well, I saw them all in the same film,
but and they weren't all physically there.
That doesn't matter. Here's why it doesn't matter to me. Because watching the Avengers fight a bunch of mooks when Thanos is the real threat wasn't interesting to me. What was interesting to me was the battle with Thanos, the villain.
Yeah,
and if all the heroes had shown up, like, how much cooler in my mind would it have been if Captain America punched him, Thor lifted him up with lightning, Black Panther came down with this sonic boom? Like, how more interesting would it have been if all the heroes fought Thanos? Instead, what I got was a hot potato chase scene for what felt like 3 hours. Well, maybe like, okay, I'll give him credit. For what felt like an hour and a half. A hot potato chase scene with the Infinity Gauntlet where did every character get to touch it at one point?
A lot of them did, yeah.
I'm watching it and my brother turns, oh my God, no, I can't do it. So I can't even do it. But there was a lot of things that I was like, why are we bothering with all this? But it was good. It was good. It was good overall. It wasn't as structurally sound as I wanted it to be. And I think a lot of it's just because it was too long. By the time that scene came, I was already exhausted. I like the time heist. I wish they had focused more on that. The time heist was neat. It was a cool idea. I thought it was going to be bad, but I thought it was a neat idea. Because I think the time heist did the best job of bridging the whole history of the movies together.
Right. Right. I mean, that was
which they could have spent more time on, unless, like, if they had shown up and just been to beat the crap out of Thanos, I would have been happy. I didn't need the big giant 45-minute long fight scene to get to the ending. Which, can we spoil it yet? I don't even know. Whatever.
Yes, it doesn't matter. Spoil it. Everyone has seen Endgame. The last person.
I have an office coworker who hasn't seen it because I was talking about it with one of my coworkers, and she came and she's like, "I haven't seen it yet. Please stop." I was like, "I guess
why?" It's been on digital for about a month. It came out on DVD.
Respect this.
You can.
Well, then that's what the discussion became. Is like, how long do we give her before we're allowed to talk freely?
You're done.
Because this is America, right? And freedom of speech is whatever I'm most cherished. I need to know when I can spoil Avengers for people.
It's too late. We were waiting on Pedro. The consensus was online on the Wikipedia page. It said we were waiting for Pedro.
That's amazing. Before we can spoil it,
we can talk about it.
I gave Wikipedia the all clear to post all this.
Good.
No, I mean, come on. The meme spoiled it for me like a week and a half after.
Yeah.
But again, I will tell you that even knowing all of the characters that would die by the end, it wasn't spoiled. Like it wasn't.
No.
It actually made me appreciate their scenes more, as it did. It foreshadowed better, right? Like Black Widow's. I don't want to say loss of faith, but her more. I don't want to say emotional. That's not the word I'm looking for. Her more poignant scenes. Her more like I just want to protect my family scenes felt all the more powerful because I knew she was going to die later.
Right. And so this is funny because we didn't get to talk about this when the movie came out, but there's some things that I really wanted to bounce off of you now that you've seen it recently. So let's talk about that, because I feel like Endgame was one of those things that I couldn't talk to you about, and we have a whole damn show talking about stuff.
So right in. Are you going to demand that Pedro sees movies the weekend they come out, or
we're going to have to start like a fund, right? Like
it's it's not just money; it's reluctance.
It's time. I can get it. I know what it is.
I think I would have screamed in the theater too. When is this movie going to end? I mean,
I think it's different, man. Like. Maybe not you, but I feed off of the energy of the crowd. When everyone's like oohing and awing and really into it, like time doesn't mean anything to me. But when I'm sitting on my couch, and I'm like, 3 hours, I can totally understand 3 hours sitting on your couch. But I was in the movie theater and everyone was there and everyone was just like cheering. And, like the moment, Cat picks up the hammer and there's just like all these like scenes, the energy in the room really feeds to it. So I
don't like people or crowds of people.
I know, but like movies like
I'm the guy who gets mad when people say shit. That's me.
I know your favorite, your favorite movie that had multiple endings with all your favorite characters, like the Tolkien elves. That movie also had tons of endings. And I don't know if you have any problems with that, right?
I did. I did, right? I thought the last one was indulgent and too long. The Hobbit films were terrible.
Yeah, well.
I mean, like, there's a lot of problems I had with it. I mean, I will forever think of those three films of Legolas fucking doing a 360 Thrasher move off of an elephant to shooting 350 fucking orcs. Like, if forever I would think of Legolas being the worst thing about these movies. And it was annoying, I guess. And then I mean, whatever. Anyway,
but were you fine with all the endings? Is what I'm kind of getting at.
Well, the books had all those endings, so yeah, of course I am fine with those endings. The books had all those endings. The Two Towers is literally two different books in one. So yeah, I'm fine with all those endings. I'm trying to think of.
So Endgame had 22 films to kind of wrap up. So I that's why all those endings don't feel so bad to me. Like you really had to bring closure to a lot of character. You had 100 different characters. You can't just end it there and be done. You kind of
had 100 different characters that had their own movies. First of all, so
right.
You could have ended their stories in their movies, but you didn't because you needed to keep people coming back
right
until this film, which is why you wound up with this. So it felt like a series finale for a really long series that would never satisfy everyone.
Right.
For me. And I was one of those people who were like, I just wanted to see Thanos get his ass kicked.
He did.
And the thing get unraveled. And I got that, but I got it after 3 hours, right? It just took too long. That's my biggest complaint. If it was 2 hours and they had edited out some of the floof, because there was a lot of floof,
all right,
I would have got there.
So let's talk about this, because now that I got you on it, I should have started off.
We started with Spider-Man, and now we're doing a...
We're gonna end it with Spider-Man again, because after we talk about the ending and all this movie,
everyone's like, why are these two a-holes talking about Endgame?
I know. Well, we have to, because
after it's come
my
out.
partner over here wants to watch the movie. and you finally got it.
So and I haven't seen the last 10 minutes of it. That's how terrible.
Wait, really? Wait a minute. You really didn't see the last 10 minutes of the movie?
I'm telling you, I saw it up to the point where they do the pan at the lake house.
Oh, dear God, I can't even talk to you about this scene.
Why?
Because it's what I'm talking about.
Well, which part? The Captain America part?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw that part.
Well, that's the end, right? He's sitting on the bench at the end.
Is that where it ends? Because I stopped watching.
He turns to him and says, how was life? And he's like, it was good. And the credits roll.
Oh, okay. All right. So I didn't see the credits roll. He gave him. I saw Captain America give the shield to Sam, and then I was like, okay, I turn it off. I can't bother. I can't.
Right. So you did. You got to the end.
All right. Was there like a post-credit scene or 15 post-credit scene?
No.
Right.
That's the big thing, right? And Endgame ended there. Like that was it. There was
perfect. All right. Endgame ended there with Captain America. All right. So yes, I did see that.
All right.
And you could talk about it. Come on. I don't.
So one of the things that bugged me during the whole thing, is I don't know how that's possible. How that ending was possible, judging by the rules that they set in the movie.
Yeah.
So the only way that ending was possible was if the entire time while we were watching our versions of the movies, like Captain America and Winter Soldier and all that, when he goes to visit Agent Carter in the hospital bed, she's dying, and she dies in that movie. She passes away. The only way that would have worked is if when he walked in there, she already knew that was her husband, but that she had to be, she like old Steve was like, okay, I have to go away because young Steve is going to come visit you.
No, you're wrong. Because they not wrong. I'm sorry. That was really wow.
No.
Let me tell you how you.
No. Tell me.
So there was a rather short and hilarious explanation of the way timelines work in the Marvel universe, which is that you can't change the future because your future became your past. So that scene with him walking in there with that with Agent Carter doesn't matter because her past is still her past. They basically his future just changed, right? So it's more of a wibbly wobbly thing. It's not like he went back in time and she lived her life with him in time. It's not like that. It's he went back in time and he created his time.
Yeah, right. So
she knew nothing of him coming back.
Right, but that's my point. Is if he went back in time, went back in time, and the whole purpose is he went back in time and dropped the stones off exactly where they were. And then at the end of the movie, he's in the same timeline, sitting on that bench
because he came back.
No, he didn't come back. That's the thing. He never came back through the machine.
Oh, so okay. I interpreted
stayed in the past in a specific timeline, made all the changes by returning the stones back to correct the timeline to match up his own timeline, and then just waited there, aged. He didn't come back. So that's the thing is the only way he would.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you might be right there, but that's not how I interpret it. I interpret it as in he stayed in the past and came back, but he didn't come back in the same exact place they thought he would.
No, that's the thing is he didn't come back. That's the point.
That's ludicrous because there's no way he could have predicted he would even be around.
Right, but that's what I'm getting. So my point is,
where did he get the shield from?
Right. So one, I don't know where he got the shield from. I don't know if he picked it up from whatever. You're right. That's another thing that I've
from the other Captain America in the past.
Right. So then they have to make him a new one. Like I don't understand at some point. Well, obviously they did because it got broken once before, and then
it got broken with the battle against Thanos, which was a dope scene. That was a dope scene.
Yeah. No. What I'm getting at is at some point in time we have to come to the conclusion that when he corrected the timeline and he stayed in the past. Captain America stayed in the past. So there were always two Captain Americas within our other movies. And he was just in the background, just keeping quiet, knowing that if he messed with anything, it would mess up his own timeline.
You can't mess up the timelines. This is something they said.
But that's the thing. If you make a change in the timeline, it creates an alternate timeline immediately.
Right.
That was the key.
So that's why he had to come back to this timeline.
But he didn't.
So you keep saying that, but you're wrong. He had to come back. He would have come back a different way, but he had to come back to the timeline.
So that's my point. Is when I'm saying all this, I don't. Again, you're missing out on something because you weren't around when the movie came out. The Russos came back and answered all these damn questions. And
did they?
Yes.
And they said he came back?
Yes, they said that he didn't come back. He was always around.
So here's what I like to say. The Russo brothers are full of shit and don't know how to make a movie, right?
That means that it is GIF and not GIF? Because the creators...
Were you waiting for that? I'm of the opinion that either interpretation is right. I don't know. I think the Russo brothers, they wrote themselves into a stupid corner.
They did. I don't... Look, honestly, I don't care.
They were just like, there's this famous, I forget the screen, Matt something or other, this famous screenwriter from, remember the TV show Babylon 5 with the space station? He's at a convention and they're asking all these questions. And one guy was like, why is it that the, blah, 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 they can't make it at this speed to get to this point to save them. But in another episode, one of those stupid, intricate Reddit nerd questions that people get stupid over.
Right.
And I remember the Matt.
They were able to break that rule one episode and then...
exactly. And it was something to the effect of like, how fast does that fighter plane move anyway?
Right.
The screenwriter said, at the speed of plot.
Right.
So, and I'm like, I've said that in our D&D games, right? Like, I just like, hey guys, like, I understand you want to obsess with every single detail, but no author's perfect. And they're not going to think of everything because once you crowdsource it, right, they're going to find the bugs. That's what happened.
No, I mean, again, the movies are perfect in my eyes. All of them now. Once they
could be better.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, I think they're perfect in what we got. We had 22 movies, and we were able to make some sort of cohesive story out of all of them.
Yeah, it worked great.
A feat that's never been done before.
Except for Thor: Dark Elves or whatever that was called.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love the callback to that one. They had to call back to that one.
The Mandarin was really crappy too.
Which he's... I don't... Did you... Yeah. Anyway,
we got fooled by that one. We got fooled by that one.
But we're still getting a Mandarin, like in the
a real one. Yeah. I can't wait. It's gonna be great. He's a solid villain. I have an old Iron Man comic with him in it, and I'm like, man, this guy was a solid freaking villain.
Oh yeah, I remember the old cartoon. He was the villain. He had all 10 rings, and he was like
a dope ass villain.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I mean, again, there's lots of holes. You're right. There's gonna be holes within holes depending on who wrote what screenplay. The Russos didn't write the entire 22 movie saga. Mm-hmm. They have teams that Disney and Marvel kind of...
Plus, it was a really cool scene. I liked it.
I know. I like it.
I was like, hey, let's pass on the shield. It's going to be great.
It makes it interesting that his own granddaughter kisses him, and then, like, she has to have known that was his granddaughter.
She doesn't know because it's a different timeline.
It's not. It's not.
Different timeline.
I know.
It's a different timeline.
I agree, but
because half of the population of the universe disappeared, and we're going to believe that both Captain Americas were not part of it, right? There's so many problems with him.
Oh, no, you're right.
Has to come back.
Maybe one of them did because there were two at a specific point. Maybe the old man Cap got wiped for
dusted, and then when he came back, he immediately found the shield in the post-apocalypse that was 5 years later.
Well, I mean, we don't know where he was. Maybe he knew everything was going to happen. He knew the moment the snap would happen, right?
Yeah, I guess he knows everything. I guess.
Yeah.
Except no, because it's a different timeline. Because
it's the same timeline.
This is why I love time travel movies, because they're so like mind warping.
Oh yeah, I know, but it is the same timeline. I mean,
it's not the same timeline because they explicitly said 1,000,000 times that it's not the Back to the Future rules of time travel, and the Back to the Future rules of time travel is what we're trying to fight. What we're trying to say.
I agree.
It's not true.
So the moment you travel back in time, the moment you travel back in time, you're still within that one stream, but then you make the change, and any minor change immediately splits it, makes it a splinter. So there's no, my entire argument here is there's no way he would have been able to age in that timeline.
Right.
He would have ended up on a bench in another timeline.
He had to have aged.
That's what I'm getting at. It's impossible for that ending to have happened. But
no, it's not. Here's how it happened. Because he could trigger coming back, and if he talks to someone in his timeline how to come back somewhere else, he could. So maybe
the only way that would have worked, I think, the way you're getting at is if he aged and
in the old timeline.
He hit the button and then came back. But
that's what I thought happened.
And everything, and he didn't. He would have come back in his time suit. He needed that suit to like survive the freaking travel.
Clothes. He's Captain America.
Yeah, I mean, just saying, like,
I put on his George Bush outfit.
I wouldn't have any problem.
Captain America's a Diners Club. Why did he dress that way?
all I'm saying is, I would have loved that exact scene if the moment he came back, but then he was like an old guy, and they would have been like, what? Like, what happened? Like, oh, well, you know, that would have been the same. But knowing that he was just sitting there on a bench, I'm like, that means he just aged naturally. And like, what is going on? That's impossible. What, you broke your own rules, movie. You can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe in a 3-hour movie they broke their own rules.
Yeah,
right?
Know,
they lost their attention span somewhere across the millions of things they were trying to keep track of.
Either way, the diatribe of all this is
question. Here's an important one. Where did all those wizards and magicians come from? Sorcerers come from? Where did they all come from?
So you have multiple schools, and multiple. So you've got the New York school, the Baker Street one. That's one. There's multiple continents have different locations and different hubs for all of the magicians.
Weren't like 2 of the hubs destroyed in Doctor Strange in that timeline? Wasn't that the whole point?
No, but he reversed it, playing with time.
But he didn't reverse going all the way back to that point. He just reversed
so that the building wouldn't get
right. So that the one. What is it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. They're all bouncing around pocket dimensions. I mean,
all right.
I'm just saying, like, there are a whole order of monks that, like, and it wasn't a lot of them. It looked like a lot, but I think it was just a few of them up front opening up the portals, and then they were split up between multiple groups. It's pretty neat that there's that many out there. I want more Doctor Strange. I
cannot wait for his film.
We have had 4 Thor movies. I mean, we're getting a 4th one. 4th one, which is good. He's a great character. I'm glad, because after the 3rd one, they really redeemed the character in a sense that he's going to move on like a different way, especially after Endgame and the changes that they made with that character.
Wait, isn't Jane Foster becoming Thor in the 4th Thor film?
That's the idea, loving Thor.
He's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy, which I'm excited for.
He's definitely going to be in the next Guardians now.
Him and Quill have some good
as Guardians of the Galaxy.
As Guardians, so good.
Which is actually a book. It's a comic.
Which you don't want to phrasing, right?
Yeah,
so it was good. It was
Lebowski looked great.
It was good scenes. I mean, it cracked me up that I was like, wow, we got one whole time heist where they're having mother issues, and then another whole time heist where they're having daddy issues. But all right, it's comics.
Well, isn't that the whole point? Like, most characters, like all these superheroes, have mommy or daddy issues, right?
That's comics. It's comics.
I mean, Spider-Man is literally like my uncle, my dad, my mom.
I know. You're right.
My girlfriend. They all get killed.
Yeah, no, it's sad. So
back to Spider-Man real quick.
Wait. Before we go back to Spider-Man, the scene where the Ancient One slaps Bruce Banner out of the Hulk.
Oh, so good.
So
good. It was a good callback. I love the fact that... Also, I'm intrigued yet again by their own, not rule breaking, but that also means that she's all-knowing in the sense that she knows all time. So she was like, no, Dr. Stephen Strange isn't supposed to be around for another 5 years or so. Like,
yeah, she knows who's going to get picked already, and
so that means, yet again, she knew from the moment he walked on that doorstep that was him, and he was always going to, no matter how many times she kicked him out. Where she kicked him out of the house, and he made him sit there and all that. So all the trials and tribulations means that he would always be the great.
Fucked up. They still got to go through all that shit, right?
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I'm saying. That's my whole callback. I'm like, so these motherfuckers knew all of this, but they have to sit around.
So and then I had one other one. I don't remember now. Go ahead. There was one other one that I'm trying to remember now. Oh, where? So like, where are all the villains in the Marvel universe where this is going on?
Oh, I don't know. Like, it really depends on how many villains have there been?
That's so like a lot of them. I mean, obviously,
like
Iron Man fought and killed his three, right? And his
right. Loki was multiple villains for multiple.
Where did Loki go? What happened to Loki?
So that's right. That's the big. That's the one that was able to like shoot off and create its own thing. Like Loki grabbed his cube and
disappeared.
Right. But that would be in a different timeline.
Yeah, and he also knows. I mean, Loki's smart enough to put together that people were not from his timeline in that time, right? So there's something there. So, and then I guess you're right. I guess there aren't that many villains. Like in my head, like Ant-Man had two villains in his.
They're all common criminals and stuff, or like mad scientists that either die or they just don't.
I guess Spider-Man's the only one with villains.
Yeah, Spider-Man's the only one with villains. So all the other villains were villains created by themselves. Like Ultron was created by Tony, and
just because one of the neat things about the Infinity Gauntlet was like Dr. Doom was there to fight.
Right. So we're gonna
and like there was some.
That's the next phase. We've got all these. Fox exists in the Disney universe, so that's what makes it. That's what I'm talking about right here. This is. Well, I'm getting called. Anywho. Yeah, we can't. That's what I want. That's what I'm trying not to diminish is the fact that we've had the Infinity Gauntlet, but we know Disney's going to keep going with this, and they're creating new heroes or bringing other heroes that haven't had movies, and they're making. Spider-Man is literally chosen as one of the like key features for their next wave. Like he is the Tony Stark replacement in a way.
Okay.
In Far From Home, no spoilers without saying it, but he is like they're like, hey man, you're the. So there are three major geniuses in the Marvel universe, at least in the Earth side. There's Reed Richards, which doesn't exist right now. Tony Stark, and then Peter Parker. And Peter Parker is the brain, but he's like the poor brain. But he's also the kid. But he would always go to Reed and be like, hey, Reed, I need your help on this in the comics. And Reed would be like, oh, wow, you found this. And, whatever, so bounce back and forth. Tony Stark is the other brain. Tony's gone. Reed doesn't exist. So Peter Parker picks up the slack. And
there's also a lot of, like, I mean, the villains also, right? Dr. Octopus.
Right. I mean,
like,
a lot of
Peter Parker fought a lot of scientists who.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right.
A lot of mad scientists.
Got the Lizard, Dr. Octopus. I mean,
even Mysterio, he's a genius.
Yeah. I mean, in a sense, right. And that's where they touch it. And he is part of that group. I mean, what I'm saying is he's got a vast amount of villains in a big rogues gallery that would be beneficial for Marvel to keep hold of. At the same time,
so wait.
A Secret Wars. We can't Secret Wars without Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is now back in the Disney light, so maybe he'll be one of the major villains this time.
I think it's gonna be Galactus. It's not gonna be Galactus.
Galactus would be.
That's the perfect way to introduce Fantastic Four. That's the perfect way to bring that back. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, Spider-Man is a big deal. Now, once you had them, you've given them sweet nectar, and you can't pull them away now. So Disney's going to fight tooth and nail to keep them around for sure. I think the biggest problem is that, and back to why I am angry more. I think more, if you really look at it, people are more angry at the Sony side than the Disney side, is because Sony was given a shot to make Spider-Man amazing, and what they did is they gave us dancing Spider-Man, emo dancing Spider-Man, and without, if it wasn't
that's unfair. That's unfair.
No, because it's a big. I know.
Completely unfair, because the only reason why Homecoming was a success is because it's part of the MCU.
Right.
Because the MCU is a success.
Right. So that you just answered. You just answered my entire question. It's the only reason the Sony Spider-Man movies now are as much money. Sony's making as much money is because Disney has given them access to the rest of their gallery. So when Sony wants to take its ball and go home, Disney's going to go, all right, but now you lose access to all of the characters, and Spider-Man gets to sit around and not be cool again.
Yeah, I mean, they might be trying. I mean, this is a ploy by Sony to bring that 50-50 split that Disney want. Remember, okay, everybody who's listening, just remember this is about two massive billion-dollar corporations bitching about money. This isn't two creatives arguing over, their music list, right?
I agree.
This isn't the front man of a band walking away from his band because he doesn't like the way the music's going. This is $2 billion corporations fighting over who gets a bigger piece of the pie.
I get it, man.
I am not shedding a tear over either.
The only people that are hurt by all of this, honestly,
nobody is hurt by this.
You say that.
I say this because it's true.
It's
not. You are way too invested. If you are hurt,
I'm not the only one. You've seen the outcome online. You've seen the amount of outrage. So you are literally in the minority, and the majority is that people are upset because they want their Spider-Man.
Obviously, I'm in the minority here. I know I am. Because.
But you're not sane.
Huh?
You're not sane. No one. You're not the voice of reason here. You're just the voice of indifference.
Because there used to be a time.
I'm always for fighting for the little guy. But Sony is not the little guy.
And neither is Disney.
But Disney has given me way better joy than Sony has. If you want to talk about, Sony had their chance. They had 5 movies.
Here's the deal. Here's the reply. Aldous Huxley was right, and George Orwell was wrong. Right? We are hurt because our entertainment is not the entertainment we're expecting.
Right.
We live in a world full of true tragedy. And I'm not going to say that you need to pick and choose what you're hurt by, but seriously, Spider-Man, being divorced from the MCU is not a big deal.
I have an entire life. I have kids, a job, bills to pay, and the little things in life that bring me joy are things like seeing Spider-Man run around with Captain America.
You could still find joy forever watching all of the movies where that happened. This is my argument. Just because we have female Ghostbusters does not diminish your enjoyment.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right.
Okay, so just because we don't have Spider-Man, it should not diminish.
That's Sony. Sony was like, oh, we didn't make enough money with the female ones. We're going to axe that one. So remember, guys, he's okay with that because
what I am okay with is not caring about 2 mega billion-dollar corporations trying to squeeze another dollar out of me. I'm okay with. I'm not sad.
But it's not you because you didn't even go see Endgame. As a matter of fact, you probably watched a copy of Endgame.
I didn't. Yar.
Yeah, exactly. Shut your face. He gets no say whatsoever. Null and void.
I in fact did vote with my dollars by not spending any.
Right, exactly. So if you didn't vote, you don't get a chance to vote.
If I didn't vote, I did vote. I didn't give him any of my dollars. That's how I voted. All of you sheep, go opening weekend.
Yeah, well.
Here you go. Doesn't matter. I love you so much. Oh, I'm not even that mad that you canceled all my favorite Disney Marvel shows on Netflix anymore. Oh, take me back, Disney. Come on, you guys are the worst. You're the worst. You are. This
entire podcast is about geeks and what we do. Of course, we're the worst. We're the
and I'm like a self-hating geek, right? No, that's true. Sometimes I get mad.
That's right. Yeah, man. So again, it seems like a long episode to talk about that, but it's the truth. I mean,
it's a big media deal.
It's a big disappointment.
It's a big media deal. I understand that people are disappointed that their favorite characters are not together anymore. I think I wish Sony and DC all success in the world because I'm afraid of this Disney entertainment monopoly. Like I'm afraid of it. I think it's too big and too powerful, and I'm glad that Sony's putting up a fight at the end of the day. They're going to lose it, but I'm glad that they're trying.
I don't know. I would be more on the side of Sony fighting the ban if it wasn't a character that isn't intrinsically already owned by Disney.
It's owned by Disney because they bought Marvel.
Right.
This isn't...
Marvel wants its toy back. Marvel wants the face of Marvel back in Marvel, and they can't.
Marvel wants it back because they want their money back. They want their intellectual property to make as much money as possible. This isn't, again, let's not anthropomorphize this corporation. Let's not make it a person, because it's not. All they want is their money-making machine back. And and that's it.
No, sure.
And they believe that they will make more money with Spider-Man than without Spider-Man. I'm going to argue that Disney's going to be just fine.
And of course they're going to be just fine.
And Sony's going to hurt from this. And I think we should fight for Sony more. Because
never, absolutely not. Sony. No,
I mean I do. I think Sony is saying, "Hey, you made the mistake of giving this to me.
They did
years ago, and we own it, and we're not going to give you 50-50 for it."
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a good business decision on Sony's part. Disney's already making billions of dollars from their properties. Let Sony make some money off of it. Let Sony do things with this property.
Well, they did. They made them more money than they've ever made. I think it's. And they can I don't think it's unreasonable for Disney to go, hey, so all that money that you made, that's fine. You made it now. You've made billions. How about here going forward, we do a 50-50 split with a character that
I think it's completely unreasonable.
I think it totally is reasonable.
A 50-50 split on the entertainment take will ruin Sony and only enrich Disney.
Why? Why would it ruin Sony?
Because Sony's not going to make as much money from the movies.
But the problem there is that the only reason they make money is because the only reason that initial deal happened is because they were told that they had to finance the movie 100%. Disney only made it partially. The new negotiations are 50-50, and we help finance it as well.
Sure. So great. Everyone gets to invest. You know what?
I'm just saying, like, it's not being unreasonable with the character. They're saying, hey, the character is only as popular as it is right now because we have put him with our guys.
Both companies have leverage. At the end of the day, Sony owns the property.
Yeah, no, they do.
So I don't feel bad.
No, not necessarily.
Here's what I don't feel bad. No, stop. I don't feel bad when someone owns their property and understands the value of it and refuses to give it up. I don't feel bad. That's what you should do.
So here's the funny thing about that, and here's where Disney can be very mean, and this is where
it will be because it's Disney. Let's not forget Disney's an evil company.
Yeah,
they're not good people over there.
They're not.
Okay,
let's talk about that real quick. Look what Disney did to Fox. All right, with Fox, Disney. And when I say Disney, I mean Marvel. What Marvel did with Fox was. If you go back the history of the past 5+ years of comic books, comic book stories, comic book cartoons, merchandising, you will notice that Wolverine has been dead for the past 5 years. You'll notice that there is no major Fantastic Four book. You will notice that the X-Men have been in a splintered / mostly dead / most of them are villains. Most of them have been killed.
So fucking, I don't even know what's going on in those comics.
Right. And the reason for that is because they don't have access to the characters to make movies off of.
Sure.
Comics don't sell. Movies do. And when they don't have control over making the movies, they basically erase the characters from their canon in the comic book so that they don't have any other form of media. So that means no toys, no cartoons, no comic book entries. And so when Fox is trying to make a new X-Men movie, which if you remember, they made a Dark Phoenix movie, there was no mention of it anywhere. Marvel just didn't give them any marketing budget for it because they were like, weird. Exactly. But that's why. And I think that's what's going to end up happening. The problem is Spider-Man is big enough that he kind of does his own thing. Like, again, I'm just saying
Spider-Man. He's like much older now, so I mean, maybe they've
rebooted it multiple times. Yeah. They've done terrible things to the character. That's a whole other episode on
interesting things
to the character. He's been a character that they want to allow to grow up. They revert him back. He can't be married and he can't have kids and he can't do anything. We got to bring him back to be the poor kid in the Bronx without, a valid relationship because that's how we
Queens, not the Bronx.
Well, Queens, right? Queens.
It matters.
You're right. Anyway, what I'm getting at is, again, it's a character that they won't be able to do that as much but I'm just saying that they do have the power to do that. They could kill off Peter Parker. As a matter of fact, they could kill. The only reason is because Sony has the rights to the Spider-Man character,
right?
Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and anything that falls under it, including a lot of its villains. So that's why Marvel can't just go, well, we're renaming the character or give him a new name or whatever, and then make a movie off that, because there are loopholes to that. But I think that
they got Silk, they got Spider-Gwen, they got ways.
All of those still fall under the Spider-Man series. That's why the Spider-Gwen is in the Sony movies right now.
So basically, it's any of the Bite. If it's the Bite,
anything within the umbrella that is Spider-Man that gets created automatically gets the rights to Sony.
But not Spider-Woman.
I don't know.
Because she's a completely different... Maybe she's not. I don't know.
Different Spider-Woman. There's been multiple ones. But yes. Anyway.
It's so complicated.
It's so complicated. It really is. I don't know. I've got friends that are sad about it. I mean, people that are just normal geeks.
They're allowed to be. I'm not saying they're not allowed to be disappointed and sad.
They're distraught about it. They've enjoyed it. They've enjoyed the mix and match of the characters and
I'm not a monster. I've enjoyed it as well. I just, at the end of the day, I can't feel passionate about two major corporations fighting over $1. I can't feel passionate about it. It's not like the creative property matters to them. It's all about the money for both companies.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not like Sony's like, oh,
I want to believe that it does have a little bit of intellectual property. Like,
Sony would have said, we believe that we could take Spider-Man in a different, better direction than Disney.
They can't, though.
What they said
shows they can't.
What both companies have said is that this was an argument over money.
Right.
And they were very transparent about it. And there's no one there that's like, our creative vision didn't work, and you often see that when it comes.
They did. Well, Sony came back. Sony came back with an official statement saying that their vision did not match with Kevin Feig's.
The vision of the dollars they were going to cash.
Right. Sony came back with a really a terrible response.
I know.
Much of today's news about Spider-Man's has mischaracterized recent discussions about Kevin Feig's involvement in the franchise. We are disappointed but respect Disney's decision to not have him continue as a lead producer for our next live-action Spider-Man film.
Yeah. Let's not pretend that Disney owns a lot of media properties, and it's very easy for them to create the PR machine to make Sony the bad guy.
Of course.
We don't know everything that's going on, but this is about money, and it's sad.
I think the news that came out was prematurely released on purpose.
Yeah.
You and I both know that. I know that. It was released on purpose so that the fan outcry would be against Sony. And I don't... All I know is I'm going to be greedy about this, and I just want Disney to have...
I just want all my comic books in the same thing. Yeah, no, I get it.
I mean, if I'm gonna disassociate with all the money and all that, and I just want to be the fan that I am, I want Spider-Man in the rest of my Marvel Universe movies.
I want Marvel Comics versus Zombies. That's what I want. There was like this sweet series, right? Wasn't it? And like
Marvel Zombies.
Is it Marvel Zombies? It was like 99, 2000.
Yeah.
When did those comics come out? Yeah. Give me that in the What If movies. Marvel, pay attention. Give me that in the What If.
I'm sure we'll get a What If episode about that.
Yeah. What if Marvel had zombies? It would be awesome.
Yeah.
So what else? While we're talking about fans being discontent, that's kind of going to be a theme. Do we have time? I don't know how long.
Yeah. Let's give you a few more minutes. Go for it.
Quick blurb regarding Apex Legends. I know this is kind of our favorite game to kick. I don't know why, but it's just become this like.
I just started playing it.
Huh?
I just started playing it.
Yeah, it's a fun game. Listen, I'm not going to dispute that it's not a fun game. I find it too stressful to play for more than like one match. But like, I guess like their loot boxes for Iron Crown was priced absurdly, and it was random and was awful. So the fans kind of expressed their real discontent regarding it, and Respawn looked at it and adjusted the pricing and made it so you could directly buy the skins instead of getting a random assortment, which is great, right? The players. Again, this is a moment where, enough discontent creates change, right? We had the Sonic movie, we had this.
So Respawn pulling enough leverage with EA to go, hey.
So that's an interesting take, right? That Respawn went to EA and said, hey, let's change this. Because then there was the whole, like, Reddit, a forest fire, right? I guess the developers went on Reddit and just started blasting the fans.
Really?
Yeah. There's an article on Polygon about it, how like they were just basically like, hey, you guys are just unappreciative jerks. You can't be satisfied. I mean, some of the things they said in this article is,
calling gamers asshats, dicks, and freeloaders.
Yeah.
Ooh. 2 developers aiming at the level of so these developers are probably taken away from.
Yeah, I've been in the industry long enough to remember when players weren't complete asshats to developers, and it was pretty neat. I forged a bunch of long-lasting relationships from back then. Would be awesome to get back there and not engaging with toxic people or asking how high when a mob screams jump is hopefully a start. They're not wrong.
They're not wrong. At this point, I'm like, when you word it like that without just taking the hot takes of what they called them, absolutely. I agree with the developer there. I'm like, when is it? We're never going to get that. It's too.
Yeah, I mean, one person came on and said, so it's fine for you all to call us liars, full of shit, and other personal attacks when we communicate an apology and update to the event, but we're immature when we call people out on it. Got it. So, like, there was and then, I mean, the CEO came out and I guess the breaking news, he came out and apologized and all this good stuff. We want to have an open, healthy relationship with our community. And it kind of like, yeah, I don't even know. I mean, part of that's probably because these developers are overworked and feel maybe they're underpaid. But also, fans are real turds. They're real. I mean, they're really, to use the word entitled doesn't begin to
community.
The toxic fan community in a PvP game with no stakes at all. They're pretty bad, So some of the things they said in that Reddit there to the developers, I was like, whoa, dude, turn off your computer and go walk outside. Like it's your aggressiveness is a little strong.
I mean, it's hard, right?
But I think
you spend hours, days, weeks, months working on a project, working on something. It's already a free-to-play game. You then, I mean, obviously they're not the ones setting the prices or whatever, but they release this new content out, and immediately the fans just like revolt and sense of entitlement. We talk about
and they say a bunch of shit, right? And they say a bunch of shit,
talked about it for an hour.
And the developers come back and make changes in light of the fan reaction, and the fans are still unappreciative, right? Like I get where the developers are coming from. Where they're like, hey, we heard you, we listened, we apologize, and you called me full of shit. Why would I do anything for you ever again?
Right.
Like I wouldn't. I'd be like, hey, I wouldn't help you out. So I don't know.
We're adults. You and me are adults, and we realize that that's how the world works, where you're like, you know what? You bit the hand that feeds. But a lot of these people aren't adults. A lot of the fans aren't. I wouldn't even call them human at some point in time.
It's the anonymity of the web. It's really the anonymity.
Right.
The ability to say something and feel good about having called someone names and released your bio, and then you walk away and you're fine, right? There's no repercussions. There's no emotional. All you get is the good emotional feeling of being bad, which I get. I mean, we all like
endorphin rush of calling someone awful names, and then you walk away.
And you walk away. You don't have to deal with the emotional repercussions, and then
you're just happy because you get a bunch of likes on Reddit. You're like, ooh, look at that up arrow go up, because
man, social media has really broken us, huh? It's really exposed some terrible psychological things about us.
It has.
To no good ends. Every time I go on Twitter to try and participate, I just get lost in the badness.
There's a funny story about that, or Twitter in general. Just my wife, she didn't like Twitter, but now she constantly sending me like Twitter stories and whatnot, or like tweet conversations, and I'm like, so I thought you didn't like Twitter. She's like, I don't, but like I definitely have found like a community where I'm like reading certain things and I'm enjoying it. I'm like, it's interesting. Like I think it's interesting that she said she didn't like it, but the level of intimacy that you get with Twitter is definitely something that you can follow. She doesn't really comment or reply or tweet much, but she definitely gets it now. And I'm like, yeah, that's the reason why, but that's the power.
I get it too. And that's the power. And some folks are using it irresponsibly. And I think just like and are strung out on those likes maybe or retweets or whatever the heck
the retweets, the likes, the up arrows or whatever, all of that. It matters to people.
And I think that happens here with the Spider-Man universe. Like if it didn't have the same echo machine where, you know, there's probably 75 YouTube videos with, you know, Spider-Man leaves MCU F Sony, right? There's probably a million of them out there.
Hundreds of them now.
Yeah, so you know.
I'm going to put that as our image.
No, it should be a picture of me being like, "Go Sony." This way, we get all the hate people.
Oh yes, Sony totally has rights.
Sony totally has rights. It's their property. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I feel like we're in our last two episodes. We're kind of got this disappointment theme going here, and I wonder what the next disaster next week's going to be. What should we end on a prediction for the next disaster? Borderlands 3 delayed. That's my prediction.
No. Oh. My heart.
My prediction. Borderlands 3 delayed.
I don't even know what we do. I mean, honestly. Yeah, man.
I think the gaming community has proven themselves to be mature and able to deal with disappointment and
yeah, that's exactly what they can do. Yeah, well, let's see. Yeah, no, Borderlands is coming out. That's pretty much all I'm excited for. The 13th.
That's all. Is it the 13th? I thought it was the 17th. But yeah, whatever. It's mid-September. It's very exciting.
Yeah, you have it. I know you say you don't pre-order, but I mean,
I'm going to try to get it. Yeah, but I probably won't have it the first day. I don't want to disappoint, but I'm not going to get it day one. I don't buy games day one. You know this.
But this is Borderlands.
But do you not?
This is Borderlands.
Okay, so here's the deal. When one has a principle, even when it's hard, you have to stand by your principles. That's the most important time to stand by your principles. It's when it's hard. No pre-orders, no day one purchases. I will not reward game companies for releasing buggy stuff. If it turns out not to be buggy, I'll buy it a week after.
I mean, they've only been working on it for like 7 years.
Yeah, same thing with Anthem. Same thing with Division 2.
No. Those are flash in the pants trying to like cash in on MMO.
Flash in the pants.
Yeah, no. Borderlands is
Is BioWare is a flash in the pan. Listen, okay, all right. Still, principles. Hey,
BioWare. Yeah, well, yeah. I stand by.
Principles are principles, and when you stand by them, you stand by them, and you've got to stand by them, right?
I gotta take a look at my Insider Vault pre-order bonuses that I'm gonna get.
Is that when you're like, oh, I've got like 700 keys, boy.
This is why we work, folks. I've got that pre-ordered. I pre-ordered that. I think I hit pre-order sitting in my seat at the PAX East event.
Yeah, no, I think I remember you doing that. And you know what? I controversial statement. I hope it's delayed. No. I hope it's delayed, and I hope they release a skin just for you that just says "sucker" across the top, right? Like that's what I want. I want all these pre-order people to feel the.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have the skin, and you won't.
You'll wear it proudly.
I'll wear it proudly.
Like, oh, this game finally came out in 2025, and you'll wear the sucker skin.
Yep. September 13th, man.
Nope, no more pre-orders. I stand by my principles, and I will stand by them no matter how they affect me or how they make me sad. Borderlands 3 even. All games suffer, all gamers suffer from my principles.
Yeah, the only reason I suffer is if I want to play the game. I'm like, come on, man. I'm still downloading because I didn't pre-order, so it's not pre-catching.
Okay, so let's be 100% real here. You are going to text me to play the game at 11:30 at night. I'm not going to be able to play. Then when I'm ready to play, you're going to be like, oh, I can't. And then when we finally get to play together, one of us is going to be level 60 and the other one's going to be level 12.
That's about right. You're right. Right.
Let's just be honest here.
Call it what it is.
And you're going to be like, oh, I've got a level 60 character. Oh, it's on my PC. Sorry, Pedro. Like, it's just, that's the way it's going to play. Because we're adults. And
we're adults.
Can't make it happen.
So, before we end it, real quick, what are you playing?
Oh, what am I playing? I'm still trying to get through the Crucible and Guacamelee 2, which is hard for me. That chicken.
Oh man, yeah.
The Crucible. We just started. R and I just started Batman 3, the Lego game.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
It's like advanced.
Yeah.
In my head, I think of these Lego games as like easy gamer things.
Lego Batman 3 and the newer Avengers one they're definitely harder. Like
the puzzles are way harder. The concepts are way harder.
I'm sitting there frustrated. I'm like, what do I do next? Like, where am I supposed to go?
Even I'm frustrated. I'm like, what do I do next? There's no clues. There's nothing. And but the movies, the cutscenes, are ridiculously good. Yeah. They're like mini cartoon movies that I'm watching of Lego characters being silly. All the Green Lanterns coming out, or the Lantern Corps coming out. So it's good. Still rocking Division 2. And I just started my time in Portia, but I don't know that I'm going to play it for long. It's an Xbox Game Pass. Yeah. It looks like it was going to be like Stardew Valley, but it looks like they took everything I didn't like about Stardew Valley and made that worse. And, they're like...
Isn't it like Harvest? Like a
Yeah, it's like a Harvest, mining, killing monsters game where you grow your farm, get in a relationship, that sort of thing. But it looks to me that they're like, oh, so you like forming relationships? We added more people. Oh, so you like building things? We added 7 different crafting tables. And I'm like, I don't want to manage all this. This sounds hard. So I don't know how long that game's going to last on my list. And then, I don't know, what are you playing?
Well, in the unpacking and everything, I've got the game room mostly set up, but I fired up for the past 3 days, at night. Just been firing up and killing me some Nazis.
Killing some Nazis. You gotta try to make Gears of War 4? Is that the one you wanted to play?
Yeah, Gears of War, the first one.
I downloaded the wrong one.
No, it's okay. I haven't played the first one in so long that I don't remember the story. So I'm not saying that I'm going to run through all of them, but I definitely want to run through at least the first one again because it's the Xbox One Ultimate.
No, the first one it's hard.
Right.
Okay.
It's got a campaign co-op and it's on Xbox Game Pass and it's.
I downloaded 4. I should have double checked.
No, I never play. The only reason I want to play 4 is because I didn't play 3. So I played 1 and 2. But I don't remember any of the story anymore. So I can run through maybe 3 or at least watch a cutscene video just to kind of catch up. And 4, well, I might play a little bit, but 5 really has me interested.
5 hasn't come out yet, though, right?
No, it hasn't come out.
Right.
But
there was 1, 2, 3.
We're owners or whatever of the Xbox Game Pass. We get it for a week early.
Oh, so it's going to be released directly to the pass?
Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Pass right up front, right off the bat. So
that'd be interesting because I feel like Horde mode and Gears of War PvP was a thing when it came out. I wonder how all those PvP games will gravitate back to Gears of War 5.
I don't know. Gears of War 4 and 5 didn't last 4 didn't last as long in the but there are fans of the series that do keep playing it. So
it was more of the same. That was my problem with Gears of War. Where I was like, this feels like the same plot. Are we even advancing? But okay, yeah. So we're gonna try to play some Gears of War.
I was gonna try to play at least.
It's like collector's enhanced edition, right?
Yeah, it's their ultimate edition or whatever, and it's been enhanced for the Xbox One.
I hope they made those car driving insta death scenes much better because I hate insta death.
I think they did fix a couple of things for the first one, so I don't know.
It was like that. Was it the train one where you had to avoid the birds and the camera angle would switch?
Right.
You're just dead, and you're like, if I could just see what I was doing.
Right. That and the final battle with what is it, General Ram or whatever his name was?
Oh, dude,
that guy.
And the light would move from cover to. Oh my God, I'm having nightmares.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to do that. You do the roadie run, and then you'd get stuck doing the roadie run against the wall or something.
And you're like, oh, yeah, I do remember that. So yeah, let's do that together so you can hear the frustration.
Now, I figured with co-op we could run through it quicker.
It's probably gonna be twice as hard, but we'll see. Let's do it.
Try.
Stay tuned.
All right. Well, I think that's it, guys. Like, subscribe, share, talk, comment. Episode 40, man. The 40 episode.
Thanks to Heretofore for the music.
yeah.
I forget who does our end music. I'm not very good at this. Who does our?
It's one of the. It's a free one.
But someone made it, right? So it's in the list of things. So thanks to the person and the list of things below.
I like that end theme a lot. So.
And be kind. Be kind to each other. In this world of everyone yelling at everyone else, we should try to step back for a second and be kind. Right? Yeah. Thank you to Tom Hyland for an amazing Spider-Man and all of his work in our universe. And good luck to Sony. I mean, here's my prediction, and I love making predictions. Sony's coming back to the table, and they'll figure out a number that works for both corporations.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, both corporations just want to make money. They'll figure out how to make money together.
Here's the money.
Here's the money.
Cheers, guys.
Also, Trash Pandas.
Woo, Trash Pandas.